Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, but I was just wondering something. I am Jorge Festrunk, and this is my brother, Jortak. We have a wash going in the next room, and we need some change for the dryer. Can you help?
I'm sorry, I don't have any change.
Well, you know, usually we have lots of change because we are both swinging guys. Both my brother Jortak and I enjoy doing many things.
We are two wild and crazy guys.
Live from the back seat of a Royal Deluxe II, it's Saturday Night Dive.
You know we are. You don't want to know what we were getting up to before I hit record just now in this back seat. It wasn't a circumcision, but it's along the same line, if I tell you what. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
My name is Zach Pruitt.
It is, and I'm Zach Hall.
And we are in the wonderful Circle 2 Lounge, the home of this podcast here at Disc Golf Mart, Indianapolis.
That's where we are.
We're brought to you by Four Finger Discount.
Four Finger Discount!
We love those Australian fellas, and they do a whole slurry of podcasts that you should check out, from Simpsons to Muppets and everything in between. Also, I want to shout out our social media, Sat Night Dive Pod, wherever you look at social media, maybe. And also, I don't use it. We don't use it. But you can follow us anyway, where you can directly conversate with us. You look like you're about to yell something.
Yeah, because I'll always say not to at me, but that way you can.
Well, if you want to at us and make sure we'll see it, you can email us, SaturdayNightDivePod@gmail.com. Any corrections, any SNL icebreakers that you'd like to suggest, or any hello, death threat, hate mail, love mail, anything you have for the Zach, send it over that way. Zach Hall, how are you?
I have corrections, but now I can't remember them.
You have corrections, but you can't remember them. And now you're going to listen to this back, and you're going to remember, and you're going to be upset at yourself. I have an email that I would like to read that we got, but I need you to stall for a second.
Yes, one of the corrections that I do know that I needed to make was, I think I incorrectly attributed Dan Aykroyd to growing up and being from Quebec. He is from Ottawa, Ontario. Quebec.
Maybe he spent some time living in...
He has French relatives in this family, for sure.
Because what I pull for this information is always like where Wikipedia says they were born. Sure. So that doesn't always mean that's where they spent their time growing up.
Sure.
I wanted to talk about this email that we got before we get into... Well, there really is no SNL icebreaker. We're going to be talking about Will Ferrell later on in the program.
We got an email from SaturdayNightDive@gmail.com.
Well, we got an email to Saturday Night Dive.
Pod, yeah.
This is from Mitch David Heiser.
I've heard of him.
Just a thought. Oh, this is like him going on a limb here, okay?
Okay.
Get ready.
Uh-oh.
Just a thought, and not even sure if I'd be brave enough to do this, but the nerds first appear on SNL Season 3, Episode 10. Perhaps this would be an opportunity for listener call-in or even special guest in studio. Absolutely not. Mitch/Todd is special guest who does the dive on the nerds, doing his lame impression of Todd. I don't know if I need a full impression the entire time, but I would be happy to have him here for a chat. Is there anybody you can think of willing to be Lisa? Hello, Lil. Smiley face. I don't know who Lisa is. I don't like this energy towards my significant other. Noogles and Pizza Face. Then we can talk a little about our history with SNL. Thanks for calling in / stopping by. Thanks for calling in. What? If interested, then maybe some pre-episode prep might be good, or just keep it totally organic. Mitch/Todd. I feel like this email was meant for our agents and handlers and not for us to read here directly on the podcast.
Yeah, my agent has been AWOL this week, but I'll track him down eventually.
Okay. We'll get right on that. Yeah, it's time to have a fresh voice on the podcast. Maybe we could work in a little, maybe we could squeeze in 60 seconds of free time and are just stuffed with absolute must-have data in each and every episode of Saturday Night Dive here.
All the things we talk about.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into Season 3?
I don't think so.
Well, we're here. We're at Season 3.
It happened.
In a handful of episodes, we'll have reached the halfway point of the original era of SNL here in the first 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. Season 3 is our shortest season that we've had yet at just 20 episodes, which is kind of the norm. And we're here, Season 3, Episode 1, September of 1977. I want to say that's, May to September, so they took off 4 months or so.
Yeah.
And now we're here with host Steve Martin and musical guest Jackson Browne. But what you really care about are the other things that aired alongside it. What would that be, Zach?
Because also on September 24th, 1977, CBS aired The Bob Newhart Show, The Jeffersons, The Tony Randall Show.
I think a sitcom about Tony Randall.
And The Carol Burnett Show. That's new. All that's new. That's not the same. ABC
One
aired,
of it is, right?
Yeah, one of it is. And the Jeffersons, maybe. ABC aired Fish, Operation Petticoat, Starsky and Hutch, and The Love Boat.
I did not Google it, but I will if it keeps showing up. Do you think Operation Petticoat is in the Petticoat Junction family of program? Or do you think it's its own thing entirely?
I enjoy that speculation. That's
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Our home network, NBC, aired The Bionic Woman and the 1975 film Hard Times.
Speaking of hard times, I'm tempted to Google if Emergency ended or got canceled because you haven't gotten to yell it in a while, but I want to keep the little seed of hope in the back of my mind. So I don't think I'm going to Google that just yet.
Yeah, the seed of hope is why I pause every time now. But the number one film at the box office, finally, a good one, was Star Wars. A New Hope, by the way.
You're willing to go out on a limb and say that Star Wars is a good movie?
My man. One of the biggest franchises on the planet.
I'm kidding. Of course. It's a great movie.
It was the first one. And at the time, it was just called Star Wars. It was later renamed Star Wars: A New Hope.
Right. It was just Star Wars until probably the 80s.
Episode 4.
When they re-released them in the theaters.
Yeah.
Preparing for a new set of films. I am younger than you. I don't like to bring it up that much.
What?
But I am absolutely a Star Wars original trilogy purist.
Ooh.
I do not really care for the prequels. They have their moments, but overall, I find them quite soulless and flat and dry, where the originals are just full of character. And then the sequel series, I think, got back to, it had some of that heart and character from the original, but clearly had no set plan whatsoever and completely fell off a cliff really early.
Right.
But I love the original trilogy of Star Wars, especially New Hope.
Han shot first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
I remember.
Just like me in the back of that Deluxe II.
Woo.
I shot first.
The number one album on the Billboard charts was Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
Kind of the Star Wars of music of its time.
Indeed. What a time to be alive. Star Wars and Rumors.
Well, here at the start of the season, let's take a quick look at who our players are. They haven't changed, but I'd like to check up on how are they, how old are they, and where are they from. Speaking of Dan Aykroyd, he's 25 at the start of season 3. Still so young. He's from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, not Quebec.
Indeed. John Belushi is 28. Is from Chicago, Illinois.
Jane Curtin, at the age of 30, she's from Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Our oldest cast member, Garrett Morris, age 40. From New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yeah, let me pause for a second. When you think of yourself being 40 years old and Garrett and Morris, as we watch it, are you 41 or 40?
So I'm 40, and then that would make you John Belushi, 12 years younger.
Does this feel right? Do you feel like Garrett Morris in 1977's age?
I will never in my life be that cool.
No, that's probably true. We have Bill Murray. He's 27 years old from Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah, or Willamette. Lorraine Newman, also 25, as is Dan Aykroyd, from Los Angeles, California.
Rounding it out, a little bit older than I thought she was. Gilda Radner, 31, from Detroit, Michigan. Still all of these people, other than Garrett, very young.
Ouch.
You're not old, but you're not young. You can live with that.
I guess.
I'm not young. I seem young to you because you're hanging out with, I don't know, millionaires and stuff, whatever, playing golf on your yachts.
Yes.
But I am still of the people. I'm still young in a way that I'm growing, but I'm not young. I get called a chopped unk all the time.
Ooh, chopped unk.
I want to break down this episode?
I sure would. We started it with a cold open, as we usually would. In an Oval Office, Burt Lance, played by John Belushi, uses the National Express credit card to pay for his debts.
Do you remember me? I used to be director of Office of Management and Budget. But still, a lot of people don't recognize my face. That's why I carry this. It's the National Express card, the most honored credit card the world over. With it, I can borrow hundreds of thousands without paying interest. Whether it's throwing a party, or financing a political campaign, or just putting up collateral for another loan. National Express gives me the credibility I need. Maybe my old friend Jimmy Carter doesn't need one, but you and I do. National Express card. Don't leave office without it.
So there's something really important we have to talk about right here at the front.
Is it Burt Lance?
No.
Oh.
Did Dan have to shave his mustache? Was that here? Is this the first time he's been mustacheless?
Perhaps.
Because his face looks very bare, and it stood out to me as one of the many changes we'll talk about here in season 3, where the show suddenly feels like a show that has money and belief and a network behind it in a few ways, starting with, let's get that fucking mustache off of Dan Aykroyd's lip. Did you notice this? Does this ring true to you?
I noticed the new feel of the show.
Not related to the mustache.
Not related to the mustache. I guess I didn't pay attention.
I guess second most important would be to talk about Burt Lance. Did you do some type of divage?
Yeah, so Burt Lance was a politician who was Jimmy Carter's head of the budget of some sort of U.S. committee on the budget.
Okay.
And then he got caught in some sort of scandal, some sort of tax scandal.
Yeah, a bank that he was part owner of got caught in a tax scandal, and it was big enough for him to step down from his position.
So back when
that meant something.
Yeah, people had the dignity to resign when they got caught doing bad shit.
When a politician of any level having some type of shady business dealing was considered a no-no.
Yeah.
Well, that also happened just about 3 days before this episode aired. So this is really fresh on the brain, and really, like, I'm sure they scrambled to make this cold open as all this was happening.
Oh, yeah.
And this feels kind of like a modern political cold open, where it is about something that happened 3 days ago.
Week, yes.
So they don't really have that much of a take on it. They're kind of just doing a, we know that this happened thing. The American Express, or whatever it was called then. What is it? National Express.
National Express.
That whole bit kind of plays.
Yeah.
But for the most part, without a Google, this is completely useless comedy television, because they're just like, here's what happened and here's us doing it. And then the Live from New York is not said in a joyful way. It is like, oh, and now that the sketch is over, I forgot. And Live from New York, it's Saturday night. It felt like I could see Colin Jost and Marcelo or somebody doing this cold open.
Yeah, I hear that. I do think it was fun that they did the play into a commercial.
Yeah.
That part of it was kind of cool. And I looked at a bunch of pictures of Burt Lance, and I got to tell you, he looks sweaty as fuck in all of them. So the fact that they had John Belushi just pouring in flop sweat was pretty good.
Could you pick out who was Broderick Crawford and who was Burt Lance in a lineup?
No, not a chance.
Also, was Burt Lance very, very, very tall? Because they had this stage where John was a full step ladder taller than the very tall Dan Aykroyd in the sketch. Was Burt Lance just
seemed like
massive?
Seemed like a big dude.
Big dude for sure. I didn't know if he was that tall.
Perhaps.
And I don't think John, they didn't really do anything to him to make him look like the guy he's supposed to be.
No.
Which also we came up with this idea 3 days ago.
Except for the flop sweat.
They also have done this bit before, the National Express thing. They did it with Reuben Hurricane Carter, probably back in season 1.
Yep.
Nah, it was fine. It was a political open that probably killed a little bit in its day, a meh line intro, but it did feel like the dawn of political cold opens that are kind of disruptive to the feel of the show for me.
Yeah.
Then we have the opening montage, and we're actually going to talk about it a little bit here, because my God, is it different. It's the very first full intro change for SNL. Howard Shore's original theme is going to remain, but the pictures and titles were replaced by video from a light screen in Times Square. I don't know if this is accurate information, but that suggests that this was filmed off of one of the screens in Times Square, and if that's true, that would be cool.
But it gives really, like, it's before your time anyway, but it's like there was a dark pegboard.
Light bright.
Yeah, light bright, for sure.
Don't come at me.
I
know stuff.
I'll get there.
This also marks the beginning of announcer Don Pardo's opening line. It's Saturday Night Live.
Finally.
And it's the last season, apparently, to refer to the cast as the not ready for primetime players.
Because
but in my heart,
there.
They always will be.
Because they're the people.
So the main takeaway of this intro is these light bright styled images that were pulled off of a Times Square marquee of each of the cast members, where we have a little cartoony pixelated version of them behind them. Yeah, and then a somber, a serious real world image or video of them plays over it.
They try to like transpose it over, and then they go with a little bit of opacity, but not enough to make it work, and then not enough to make it work. Like, it's the wrong amount of opacity that they chose.
Some of the images were pretty good. They got Jane right.
Yeah.
Jane looked great. Some of them were cursed, as the kids say.
The way that they positioned Gilda made it look like her grandma as soon as she sent on the real picture.
Yeah, she kind of looks like Miss Latella instead of herself.
Yeah.
And then John and Bill both had kind of unsettling, a little bit showing their worst sides images. What do you think about this intro? Were you ready to go back to the season 1 and 2 intro if you could, or are you into this new take?
It seems like the first signs of a small-time show that got its popularity by being the rebel outcast, now starting to become the machine itself.
Part of the corporation that's skewing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like the first signs of, well, hey, it's going to be 1978 soon, so we got to start using some new technology, and we got to make this look a lot more professional. And I don't know, I think what works about the show is that it's ragtag.
Well, yes and no, because look at the way sketches look today versus season 1 and 2. They definitely need a facelift and a little bit more money and a little bit more of a set and costume department to make each sketch feel like a different piece, to where now they can recreate like any film, TV set. They can make any setting in a week to create a beautiful setting. I think that's fine to get the money that they need to get bigger in that way. But I see your point. I hear it. Were you excited that Franken and Davis are going to show up later?
Kinda, yeah.
I feel the same. I was kinda excited. Okay, after that.
Yeah, tell me.
I just did that.
What?
I read the whole thing about the opening.
Well, it's our host monologue. I've heard of it. His name's Steve Martin. He's a 32-year-old comedian, actor, writer, producer, and musician from Waco, Texas. This is his third time hosting SNL.
I swore it was 4, but I guess it was just the 2 last season.
Well, he gets 3 this season. In 1977, Steve Martin released his first album of stand-up comedy, Let's Get Small, and appeared in the episodes of The Mike Douglas Show, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, Hollywood Squares, 3 Girls 3, The Muppet Show, and the short film, The Absent-Minded Waiter. And the TV special Rolling Stone magazine, the 10th anniversary.
Of course, true Acolytes will remember our deep dive on 3 Girls 3 in a previous episode.
Indeed, and how Steve Martin starred in half of them.
Of the 4.
Yeah. Today, Steve is 80 years old.
I'm so glad he's still with us and still so silly, and I love him.
In his monologue, Steve Martin wants to find a tiny pair of handcuffs for his embezzling cat.
That's one of the many jokes that we get in this stand-up monologue
He's
routine.
Like Robin Williams. He's just all over the place.
And I know what we're getting by this point, and I do love it every time, and it is definitely energy over material. Not that the great Steve Martin in the 70s did not have some killer material, but in these appearances, it's usually wah ba blue ba wah bam boom. Like he immediately comes out and just starts wildly gesturing like he's a cartoon character. His first bit is just repeating the same musical line over and over again. Do you remember it? Did you write it down?
I didn't write it down.
Oh, the shark bites with its teeth, dear, and it keeps them pearly white. Oh, the shark bites with its teeth, dear. Yeah, he pulls up the shadow puppets, and he has another one going on.
That's crazy.
You can work on it later.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to start like giving fingers at you.
Yeah.
Feels a little suggestive.
Not here in the backseat of the Star.
And I also like the interplay with the band when he's like, all right, boys, take it away. There's a shark, dear. And nobody says anything. He's like, all right, you guys get caught up. Then they kind of start to play this song. He's like, no. We're cool now.
Yeah.
Cut it. That was fun. There are good bits. There are okay bits. But the energy throughout the whole thing gets me going. I just love Steve.
He just comes out to be Steve Martin for a few minutes. And yeah, he's like Robin Williams. He's all over the place. He just kind of starts talking about one thing and then talks about another and then talks about another and then talks about another. And
see if this speaks to you. I feel with Steve Martin in these appearances, his setups usually hit harder for me than the punchlines. Stuff like, now I know what you're all thinking. Steve, what are you wearing loafers for? And you're like, why is he addressing me? And no, that's not what I was thinking. I can't see his feet. Why would I be thinking that?
No
that
laces.
Is way funnier to me than the born to be wild, which is kind of dumb and just a way to throw it away and move on to the next joke.
But no laces is crazy.
I know what you're thinking, Steve. You're a rambling guy. His runner, probably my favorite joke here, is him talking about how he gets by traveling from town to town as a very famous rambling man comedian.
I know a lot of you people are sitting out there saying to yourselves, Steve, you're a rambling guy. Is it tough for you traveling around from town to town, staying in different hotels every night, all alone, not with your friends? I've kind of worked that out now. I've got a whole new policy, like I came into New York early this morning, bought a house. Met a cute gal, got married. We have a little baby, another one on the way. Tomorrow, wake up, have a home-cooked meal, sell the house, get a divorce, and get on to the next town. So, this is what Steve is doing now.
He comes out and is very Steve Martin for quite a while.
The Farrah Fawcett bit was a little bit suggestive and fun. I was kind of into that. Do I need to re-jog your memory?
Yeah, jog my memory.
He's like, I am out of nowhere. He's like, I'm so mad at Farrah Fawcett Majors. She's never called me once after all those years I spent holding up her poster with one hand.
Yes.
It's a jerking off joke.
It's a pretty good joke.
It's a jerking off joke. When he talks about being on a TV show called Celebrity Cokeheads.
And then he pulls out the chapstick and pretends
my
it's
lips are
chapstick.
dry.
And then, yes, pretends that it's not chapstick.
And compared to some of the people in his class, I think Steve was a little more straight cut, less of a drug guy than the people around him.
Probably.
I don't think he was an actual cokehead. I think this is just what it is to be Steve Martin at this time. I think he just has that much untapped energy.
Nice. Well, it's easy to make fun of it when you're not doing it.
Yeah. Comedy is not pretty.
No.
Not pretty. That's it that I have on the monologue. I liked it. I always like when Steve does his nonsense.
Yeah, it was okay.
I like it more than you pretty much every time. I think.
For stand-up, I always look for either really, really good jokes that take a second to set in, and then you're like, oh, God, how did I not get that?
Sure. Like George Carlin.
Yes. Or,
Richard Pryor.
Great wordplay like Hedberg, or, like a good use of a pause like
I'm going to look
Norm
at both
Macdonald.
ways and then say Louis C.K. in the before times.
In the before times, for sure. Yes.
Well, after that, we have our first sketch of the night. It is a pre-tape called Royal Deluxe II. It's about a vehicle that rides smooth enough to allow a rabbi to perform a circumcision in the back seat.
Performing circumcision is a demanding time. It requires a sure hand and a steady cutting surface. To show you that our ride is possibly the finest, smoothest in the world, we deliberately picked this road because of its rough, uneven surface. This is an actual demonstration. Our speed, 40 miles an hour. The stylish Royal Deluxe II rides smooth because we build it right.
That was nice of them to fly all the way to Indianapolis to shoot this.
What do you mean?
Oh, they ran over a ton of very, very deep potholes.
That is a good point. There are a lot of little details that make this not hilarious, but very clever and fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think the guy playing the rabbi is excellent.
He does a great job.
He is so good. I think Dan, the choice to have him look over his shoulder and deliver all of his dialogue to the camera was it added to the weird paranoia of this. It starts out as a nice car commercial, but then once we know a baby's about to get part of his dick skin cut off, you start to worry about that car's really moving. It's really bouncing. Oh no, not another pothole. It kind of made me cringe in a good way.
It made me cringe when you said baby's dick skin.
Baby's dick skin. Well, how else would you describe that?
I don't know.
Would foreskin have been better? Probably.
5.
Probably. 5 skin. That's when you have so much that the doctor's like, damn, son.
Damn, son.
I liked when the rabbi said "perfect" when he finally successfully cut the baby's penis skin.
Somewhat harmless.
Is that better? And I really like the line at the end. You may never have to perform a circumcision in the Royal Deluxe II, but if you do, we're sure you'll agree with this rabbi. I thought this was really fun, really easy. They'll probably air it 3 or 4 times this season, and I'll probably like it better the next time.
I feel the very same about it. It was fun enough for me to use it as the opening line.
Yeah. That's big.
It's something.
And then
it's a live sketch. It's the Festrunk brothers. You heard me right. They're finally here.
Yeah.
You guys have been waiting. An iconic pair just makes their debut right here in front of us. It's a pair of Czechoslovakian brothers who ran from the tanks. Jorg.
I think so.
And Jortuk Festrunk. That's Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd, respectively. They try to pick up a pair of women, Jane Curtin and Gila Radner, playing ping pong in their apartment building's rec room.
Kind of like the Lance thing and Aykroyd's mustache. There's a big bullet point that we have to talk about here at the top.
And it's?
Jane Curtin is a lot better at ping pong than ring toss.
Okay, nice.
I was pretty impressed. Obviously, they flub a bunch of times and have to keep going, but I was pretty impressed how they kept up pace, paddling back and forth while performing in a sketch.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, man, you were looking at things I wasn't looking at this week. That's fun.
I guess when I see something like that, I go into I would be so scared that I'm just going to mess up. Like when you're trying to actually do a task in a sketch instead of just delivering lines without it being distracting. There's a time where I think Dan has to hand them the ball back. There's a time when one goes AWOL and I think they pull another one out. I was having fun watching that. Obviously, I'm giving the small bullet point first because what I was really focused on here is the dynamic performance of Dan Aykroyd and Steve Martin, these characters that they build together, and immediately the rhythm that these two characters have with each other that feels very lived in. That Dan is obviously the talker, and he's going to be the guy who's really showing off, and then Steve is kind of there to back him up and say something cutting there at the end, and none of it makes sense.
Yeah, their English is tenuous at best. Their grasp on it anyway is. It's a fun set of characters. I think the way that they choose to interpret how they're going to speak in English is great. Like their broken English, their version of it is funny.
It is really funny, and I feel that Czechoslovakian was a good pick for it to be an accent that I don't feel offended by.
Sure.
This sketch probably doesn't hold up in 2026 as it did in 1977
Not
with the emphasis on we're going to put drugs in your food maybe, haha, so we can have sex with you.
Yeah.
But I am still able to laugh at these like boorish, loose grip on the English language dudes. Like they are the joke.
Sure.
So that makes it still quite funny to me. Did you think this was pretty funny?
Yeah, I mean, there was some good lines in there. The writers were able to play with the language enough to make it a fun watch. But yeah, it was hard not to hear it with your 2026 ears when you're like, man, these two are, if they were speaking in like fluent English, this would sound gross.
And it does.
Yeah.
Also, it's pretty fun. And I got to a point in the sketch where I just started writing down all kinds of lines, and I don't feel the need to say all of them because most of the people listening to this podcast have probably already heard this sketch and could quote it themselves. If you haven't, you should definitely check it out. And a lot of what makes the line so funny is the inflection that Dan and Steve are putting on it, the pauses that they're taking, the words that they're sticking on, and the sentences that end on a point you didn't think they were going to end when they started it. Just like flat endings that really mean nothing. Like I really like when Dan goes, as they're kind of talking, chit-chatting, he cuts through with, not to be polite, but what are your names?
Not to be polite was a fun one.
They kick them off the ping pong table. I love that they're here to hit on these women. The first thing they do is ask them for money. The second thing they do is steal the game that they're playing to break it because their Czechoslovakian version of ping pong, as Zach just showed the viewers watching at home,
for sure,
was to slap and smack and crush a ping pong ball.
Well, first of all, to steal the game from them and then tell them it's because they're trying to impress them.
We are putting the moves on you. Why should we have to wait?
That's ballsy itself. But then speaking of ballsy, Steve Martin's athletic prowess and timing to be able to hit the ball and then like smash it down on the table without it flying.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
There are a couple of these dynamic comedic duos. We talked about it with Dan and Eric. Obviously, Dan and Steve.
Yeah.
Completely different energy, but both absolute pros who are taking this shit seriously.
Yeah.
Who just understand the assignment and crush it.
Listen, guys, we're right in the middle of the game. We'd like to finish it,
Well,
really.
why should we wait? We're putting the moves on you foxes. So, how much do you weigh?
About 110, 115.
Okay, just tell me when you want me to come home with you.
That is the funniest question I've ever heard anyone ask a woman.
What they think is small talk and what they think is crushing an interaction and winning these women over is just awesome. I do love that the women get the upper hand in this sketch because obviously these dudes are stupid.
They're idiots.
They don't give them their apartment number. They tell them to meet them in the middle of the Hudson Tunnel.
These guys are the Czech version of Andrew Tate followers. Like they're the worst.
Yeah.
But it's still funny to watch them because they are two wild and crazy guys.
Do you know the man in the glass booth?
I don't.
Naturally. It's in the Hudson Tunnel. We'll go there in our Deluxe II. I thought this was great. I know that we'll see this sketch probably most of the times in the next few seasons that Steve comes back.
Yeah, he's back 3 times this season. I think this sketch has 5 iterations.
I love that.
Okay.
I'm into that. I think this will be funny enough for it to happen that many times. This might be Steve Martin's version of the samurai sketch for Buck Henry.
Sure.
I enjoyed this quite a bit. And in the end, when they do another take of the ping pong ball and they congratulate each other and they say good job, but his response is like, thank you, don't mention it. And then Dan goes, ah, ha, ha, ha. And they start hopping off on one leg. It's just odd. And Dan does these odd characterizations like the Czechoslovakian brothers here, like the Coneheads with Beldar, where he just has the movements, the dialect, and how they frame sentences so down pat that you believe everything that they say and do.
Their version of dancing is to hop around on one leg. It's pretty great.
Clearly, you never lived in a communist bloc.
I have never. You're right.
Well, I feel like we have covered that one quite successfully. Let's move on.
Because next there's a bumper. It's a woman in the crowd who's faking it, but at least trying. I feel her.
Yeah, and I hear screaming laughter from the audience. There's a woman near this that very much resonated with.
Okay, yeah. She liked that.
Would you rather, can we get real here?
Oh my. Have we not been?
In a sexual relationship,
What's that?
would you rather the partner fake it but try, or be honest with you, or just let what happens?
Be honest with me?
You said it, and that is the right answer, but the way you said it startled me a bit.
Yeah.
Do you think it's nice and respectful for a woman to be like, I'm going to try, or do you feel like undercut by that?
I don't feel undercut. I feel.
I'm just taking notes for after the podcast here in the back of the car.
I don't like to find out something was different later than it was when I thought. So I would just rather have the honesty.
Yeah.
And know that I'm not good.
So I should say that because the stuff you were doing before we started recording, my God, what's next? I did want to say about the bumper. It's new text.
It is.
And this is the only bumper we get this night.
It's a new font, yeah.
So I wonder if we are phasing them out, which makes me sad. I've enjoyed the bumpers quite a bit.
Or maybe they were having technical difficulties.
That could be. There are a couple audience shots that would have looked great with a bumper on top of them where they don't come. Well, after that, ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Browne performs Running on Empty. Our
he does.
musical guest today is Jackson Browne, a 28-year-old rock musician, singer, songwriter, and political activist born in Heidelberg, Germany, who would go on to sell over 30 million albums in the United States. He performs the song Running on Empty from his 1977 album, Running on Empty. Today, Jackson Browne is 77 years old.
Looking back at the years gone by like so many summer fields. 65, I was 17, running up on. I don't know where I'm running now, I'm just running on empty, running blind, running to the sun, but I'm running behind.
This is awesome.
Good. Obviously, you know this song.
I love this song.
And I know this song.
This song is like if someone started a band in 1976 and said, let's write a Fleetwood Mac song. And they did. And it's Running on Empty.
Sure.
It sounds like another band trying to write a Fleetwood Mac song. But
And not just Fleetwood Mac.
But like in a good way.
It sounds like someone who effortlessly wrote the type of rock song that were becoming hits. I can't think of other names, but it's got hints of like the Cars. It's got like all sorts of very, very good musical artists. And this doesn't feel like it's copying any of that. It just feels like this man is so in the know with music that he was able to add to that repertoire of great songs. This is a great song.
This song's awesome.
This was a great performance.
And it sounds great.
I thought so too. For the SNL studio, for these old ass recordings of it we're watching, this was very dynamic. Like his voice was so on tune. The guitars were
like
great. The band was tight. Very close.
It sounded very close to the record cut.
That's not something I feel very often watching these. So that was really cool.
The harmonies were really well done.
Yeah, the backing vocalists were really interesting looking, like Everyman.
The one that was
people
basically Will Ferrell
doing
in the overalls.
Yeah, he had overalls and a weird hair thing
And the
going
beard,
on.
yeah.
But he sounded great. Did you notice the dope fly ass double necked guitar?
Yeah.
It was shaped like
a seashell.
It was a bird. The bottom of it is like feathers and stuff.
That's what it was? Okay.
And one of the tops of the neck was eagle's head.
Okay.
It was very neat.
That sounds very 1970s.
It was super 1970s, and it was so easy for me to get into it and to like it and to enjoy this performance. Yeah. I noticed here that the music setup is different. I don't know if I like how this looks as much, but they've opened up the space so there's more to play with.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that in the host monologue.
That's different too.
The home base looks a little different.
Yeah,
They've
our
opened
first
up the
thing
space a little bit
after
more.
Don Pardo announces is a very close up on Steve Martin's face before he walks down the stairs to the new, bigger home base.
The stairs are now even more exposed to the audience than they were. There's less of like a back area, and the stage itself has more room for people because the band is now on it.
This is kind of how SNL UK does it, where every episode starts with a zoom in on the host's face before we zoom out for them to walk downstairs to home base. It's kind of neat.
Cool.
I thought this was great, and I also liked the cute moment where Steve Martin introduced Jackson Browne, where he acted like he didn't know he was on after a pause and was like, "Oh, we on? Okay," and goes into the explanation. It was fun. Good performance.
Yeah, same. Thumbs up.
We're going to move right on.
It's Weekend Update with fucking everyone in the world.
Except for Gilda.
Yeah. Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd are our official anchors. There is a new Weekend Update set. There is a new Weekend Update intro looking thing. There is an Weekend Update logo.
Anchor, a new logo.
And that everybody is
wearing it.
Yeah, and it's everywhere. So the Weekend Update news team, co-anchor persons Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin, they're going to report the week's top stories. The possibility of a retirement age being raised from 65 to 70, which is great because that raises the birth age from 0 to 5.
If we get our way, that's what it'll be.
That's
yeah,
pretty fun. President Carter's canceled plans with Idi Amin.
Which was a nothing joke.
It was all the Idi Amin jokes are big nothing.
And it starts with this long list that Jane gives of all the different places that Carter is going to be visiting, which felt totally useless to the rest of the joke about meeting with Edie over Thanksgiving. Just nothing.
And science has finally found a link between fire and third-degree burns.
This just in, the Surgeon General's office has released results of tests which establish a definite link between fire and third-degree burns.
That was Dan's first joke as a Weekend Update.
And
anchor.
I like that when she didn't even really like flip to him, but the camera did, and he said, "Thank you, Jane." And I was like, yes, this is awesome.
Dan delivers this joke very well.
He
It's
does.
a joke that fits so well in Dan Aykroyd's voice. Why is he here? We don't need him.
I know.
He's great. It's Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
He's going to be good in this spot. I feel like the show is starting to realize how big of a part of the show Weekend Update is, even without Chevy, and they're trying to make it bigger.
So if I remember correctly from the Lorne book,
Did they talk about this season 3 switch?
Well, they talked about Weekend Update a lot. And one part of that was that Weekend Update was built out of something that Lorne had done on the Hart and something, Lorne and Hart Hour.
Yeah. I think it was like the Lorne Report.
Yeah. And Lorne originally wanted to be the guy behind the desk, but they thought Chevy did a better job. Toy boat. So after
Lorne must have really sucked because Chevy could not read a word.
After the second season, when the show started to become a thing, and
Even more so.
Yeah, they realized that
Not become a thing, but just is.
They realized what they started to have. Lorne wanted to get Weekend Update to be more like the vision he had originally had, like where it itself was a show within the show.
And that is how this feels.
Yeah.
It is moving at a breakneck pace because here we get 3 jokes and then we're right into our first correspondent. Before we talk about Lorraine.
And she's not fucking standing anywhere. It's crazy.
No, she's sitting at the desk like everybody is this week. And that kind of takes something away, even if I like all of these different people getting their bits in one way or another. Do you like the new set? Do you like the new backdrop?
It feels like kind of... So when you make minor changes...
Yeah.
over a period of like 5 years, and then you see the first year and the 5th year, it seems like a big change. But this is like they skipped 6 years and went ahead, and now it's like, okay, wow. The whole back is a green screen. Interesting. And
I don't think it's a green screen because I see folds in the setup. I think that is a printed background.
Okay.
And I do like that background.
And then they get real hot on using chroma key.
Yes.
And
they've kind of gotten rid of the projector look a little bit. I think they've gotten rid of the teletype sound.
I don't know, man. It's okay, but I don't hate that they're trying to get everybody some time.
Yeah.
I just wish like the correspondent Lorraine being somewhere else that's not in the studio is like the best part of her.
it is too much too fast.
Yeah.
We are used to Jane Curtin at the desk. If we're going to add another person, maybe the majority of this focus should have been, let's get used to Jane and Dan at the desk together with 2 correspondents, pick 2 of the 4 that we have here. It moves at a breakneck pace. It's so fast. Some of the bits work, some of the bits don't. I just wish it would like slow down and do half of it this time and hold on to some of these for next time.
This is like getting your grandparents used to using Windows 95.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they get used to it, taking it away from them and giving them like the new Apple iOS.
Yeah.
Like,
it is like that. You're right.
They'll fuck their brain up because it's too much change at once.
I don't know that it like fucked me up on that level, but it was too much too soon. Let's talk about Lorraine here.
Yeah, she's sitting and she reports on her time spent in China around the observance of the first anniversary of the death of Chairman Mao Zedong.
This might be my favorite of these bits this week. There are a couple other concepts that I like, but this thing with Lorraine, she went there for New Year's. She does a lame joke about gong in the new year instead of ring in the new year. But the emphasis here, she goes to this viewing a year after Mao Zedong died where they show his body in this crystal chamber that it's been embalmed in. To my understanding, you could still go see this today. You could see his body embalmed in crystal, which is insane. And there's this really great prop here that is the crux of the joke where Lorraine comes back with a snow globe or a paperweight.
It's a snow globe. It's hilarious.
That is a recreation of it. It is an awesome prop.
Yeah.
I hope that somewhere this thing still exists.
It's really funny. I hope it's in Lorraine's house.
Did you like this bit?
I did. Yeah. And they went real hot on the chroma key during this one for like Lorraine's hair kept like disappearing.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny.
I'll give them that because they're adjusting. They're getting used to it. I hope it gets better before it gets worse. Yep. I liked how when it's time to turn back to Jane, she just says fascinating and moves on. No other response. After that, more Weekend Update with Jane and Dan. Joke about Cher and Greg Allman undergoing cosmetic surgery. Cher gets her breasts lifted,
Yes.
And Greg Allman gets his hands raised.
Yes.
Okay.
It's there. I hear you.
We're going to be right back after the weather, and then we do get a pretty fun overlay new thing that's the Weekend Update weather report.
Yes.
I liked this. Did you?
There was some like text jokes in it. There was like a day that it was going to be 451 degrees.
And then the next day there's no data because that's the end of the world.
Correct. Yeah, it was kind of fun.
There's also a really long, awkward pause before we get the weather overlay that kind of like stressed me out a little bit. Where Dan says, "Now the weather,"
and then they
just stare.
They both just stare at the camera because that's what news anchors do.
But when this was just Jane, she would have made this one of the funnier bits. She would have
like turned to the other camera or something.
She would have addressed what's happening with her eyes. This felt like everybody's like stressed out about this new Weekend Update and if it's going well or not. Because think about today. Sorry to go on a tangent here. The Weekend Update hosts don't really show up in that many sketches. When they do, it's a special thing. This is Weekend Update with the whole cast in it.
Yeah.
So imagine trying to like put this together and rein it in while you're also in the very next sketch, or you were just in the sketch after this. It must have been nuts.
Yeah, it was a little clunky. But then we get Weekend Update correspondent film critic Bill Murray. Bill reviews the film The Deep without seeing it.
Hello, everybody. And I mean that. Now get out of here. Hello, I love you. I hope everybody had a primo summer. Yours truly, the party animal, went totally insane for 3 months. Say, speaking of fun, tonight I'm reviewing The Deep, Columbia Pictures' summer box office smash. The same guy who wrote Jaws, Benchley, wrote it. They gave him multo dinero to do it again. Anyway, I haven't seen the film yet. I went to the screening. They usually start late, and my date was drunk. I arrived later than usual and missed the whole thing. I asked some friends about it, and they said, well, Jacqueline Bisset looks great.
My favorite thing about this is Bill's demeanor. His like, get out of here. I love you. I mean it. I promise.
Sure.
And the idea of reviewing a movie you haven't seen is a good idea. I could see them returning to this and doing it well, and other cast members have done stuff very similar to this. What I would have liked is less of the showing a clip and him commentating over it, because at that point, to me, the bit just kind of halted and didn't really come back until the end when he goes back into his like, I love you, I mean it. I like the bit when he talks about, I don't prejudge things. And I really love that about myself. I love the little bits of character building here, but this was glass half full.
Okay.
Could have baked for another week. What did you think?
He was like Nick without singing.
Yeah.
But the Deep itself was a a movie that came out after Jaws, but to kind of capitalize on the
written by the same guy.
I don't think so.
That's what
maybe
Bill says here, but maybe that's not true.
It could be him trying to capitalize on everything, but yeah, it was starring Robert Shaw and Nick Nolte and Jack Lumsett.
And we get Bill's thoughts on each of these cast members. He wants Nick Nolte to ditch the mustache. He wants Jacqueline Bisset to stop taking roles that don't challenge her. And he kind of just wants, who was the other guy?
Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw to just get out of here.
Yeah.
Just makes me real mad.
Yeah. It was okay. Bill didn't do it for me as much as maybe Lorraine or even Garrett.
I think this just needed some more time to bake. They could have held this for next week, and I think they also could have done the same with this next thing. He throws it right over to sports with Garrett Morris. Garrett is going to discuss Muhammad Ali's upcoming title defense fight and the breaking of a baseball home run record.
Yes.
The Muhammad Ali joke is kind of just an update joke that anybody could have said that is fine. There's a funny picture joke where the guy he's going to fight in a previous fight got his brain knocked out of his head.
Yeah, which can be dangerous to boxers, an exposed brain.
Is that a sponge on top of his head in the photo?
Yeah,
that was funny. And then I did not care for the Japanese baseball runner or the speech or any of it at all.
I agree.
Jokes about Lou Gehrig, who had been sick and I think had already died at this point.
Definitely.
Definitely had already died. And then jokes about black people using a word that makes us uncomfortable a lot of times.
Yeah, so we can just gloss over this one.
Oof. I'll give it an oof. I did notice, why does it cut to Garrett, who has a picture of a baseball bat that says Evel Kinevel behind him?
It's the first of two Evel Kinevel references
that don't make sense and aren't included in the rest of it. There's something going on here with Evel.
Yeah. Well, then we're back to Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd, and Jackie Onassis receives millions in a settlement with her late husband's estate.
Yep, Jackie has to break ties with the family, drop claims about them, and finally return her husband's body.
It's about time.
I don't like this pace of like one joke.
Yeah.
Of our now two hosts.
Correct.
In between each of these bits.
It's chopped up in a very weird way.
Next is another correspondent, John Belushi. Maybe this is my second favorite. I thought this was pretty solid.
Okay.
John is stopping by the desk to report about his recent trip to Durango, Mexico.
Yeah. Some fun photos that he shares.
This whole thing is funny. I think maybe the picture of John holding a big bag of weed and shaking hands is just him on vacation.
Seems like it.
So the build up to that reveal, I think, is solid when he's talking about every year we give a scholarship to someone in need. We went to this school. Here's the people we met. Here's
I saw
the
this
boys.
boy. I could tell right away this is the guy.
He's illiterate. And then we finally zoom out to the reveal of the big weed photo, and the joke just sells itself.
The bag is
massive.
Large. A turkey-sized bag doesn't begin. It's like double that.
Yeah, like a full garbage bag full of weed.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that John's handing over is a pretty small stack. I can't see exactly what it is, but it doesn't seem like market value. Doesn't look comparable at all. And then the next scholarship, they're going to be going to Columbia. So if anybody knows any students in Columbia, hit us up.
So he'll get some chapstick. Then weekend update again with Jane Curtin and Dan Aykroyd. Sammy Davis Jr. keeps his chauffeur employed after getting rid of his limo. It's a picture joke because he's being carried by someone.
I really was curious on the context of this picture. Why is he being carried around like this? Mm-hmm. It's giving Uncle Jack from Arrested Development when Martin Short got carried around by a bodyguard the whole episode. He says, "Swing me.
Shoot me." Yeah. So after that, we get a daring raid between the Houston and Philadelphia police forces. The Houston police force raided and arrested the Philadelphia police force.
Funny one.
Yeah, it's about time.
And it's quick. And all of Dan's jokes are quick, biting in Dan's voice. They work just fine. He doesn't need to be here.
Dan Aykroyd's story about the Lance hearings is interrupted by a test of the emergency broadcast system, which is a lot of text.
Yeah, including beep. I thought this was really successful because of how frustrating it was. Because I would be, I definitely probably have ADHD that has never been diagnosed. Okay. And this podcast might be driving me closer to that.
Cool.
But it was so frustrating. I was trying to listen to what he was saying and read the text, and it would take my attention away. Then I'd try to go back, and I watched it 2 or 3 times, and I was still finding myself, which means they crushed this.
Yeah. They split your attention.
There's something about Lance fucking a polar bear, but it's not that he fucked a polar bear. It's that he wanted to assassinate a baseball player, but it's not that. It's that he wanted to assassinate a polar bear while fucking the baseball player.
It was funny because they just kept, Jane and Dan kept rapid fire reporting things and then correcting each other. Oh, that report wasn't true. This report's true.
Well, actually, we just got this in that proves that part wrong, too.
Oh, yeah, this actually is just new. It was fun. It was a good bit.
I like Dan turning it away with a line like, we'll get back to you on this once we figure the facts out. Can somebody get on that?
Yep. And that was it. Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
I like Don Pardo's line at the end saying that Weekend Update's been keeping America informed for over a 50th of a century. That's pretty funny.
That is. Wow.
Pretty classic.
I love it.
I like things about this. I think some of this moving Weekend Update forward is in the right way, but I feel like I did talking about it this whole time. It's too much too soon.
Yeah.
You should have done half of this. Let Dan really take some time to grow into his spot at the desk and then add all of these correspondence over a few weeks. What did you think about this?
Zach, you ignorant slut.
That's coming.
You got to let him pour it out. You got to let him hit you with change with a fire hose.
Okay.
I'm just being contrarian.
I know. It was.
I don't like it either.
It was a little bit of a whiplash moment of
It's
like,
just-
oh my God, I was ready for Weekend Update and this is it different.
If it had been perfectly executed,
Yeah. And every
Maybe.
single correspondent
yeah,
slapped.
maybe.
Yes.
It was absolutely nowhere near perfectly executed.
It wasn't awful. It was okay.
It was all right.
Some good jokes, some good correspondence, some bad ones, just too much. Breakneck pace. Just like this podcast, because we're going to move on and talk
We are
about the next
smashing
thing.
through this.
We have a live sketch. Mike McMack, defense lawyer. Defense lawyer Mike McMack. That's such a fun name. Played by Steve Martin. Fuck. Okay, I have to read the sentence. Defense lawyer Mike McMack makes a pass at a rape victim played by Gilda Radner, whose case he helped throw out of court. So that's the setup for this comedy sketch.
So, listener, if you got a trigger warning here, you're going to want to skip ahead because this sketch is tough
Yeah.
for this particular issue.
So the seed of the idea of a smarmy, awful piece of shit defense lawyer way before Better Call Saul ever existed, having their own procedural show about them being the main character and the hero when clearly their job is kind of evil is a good bit.
Yeah, there's some humor in it.
If they made this crime about murder or anything else,
Sure.
the lines about rape and the level at which Gilda sells her emotional, distraught sob
Yeah.
scene, and the way that none of the jokes really sing, and then at the
because
end,
they're not jokes. They're just like vile
this is
things.
just life.
They're just vile things that
Yeah.
Michael O'Donoghue thinks when he goes home.
The other lawyer congratulates Steve's bad lawyer for turning the rape case against the person who was raped. They like handshake, like, oh, maybe I'll get to beat you one day. The judge clearly loves McMack, and McMack like pets him like a doggy a couple times.
Yeah, he doesn't just pat him on the head. He like gives the full
Scratch.
full palm
Ear
to the
scratch.
side of the face
Yeah.
with the ear scratch, like you're a good boy. And yeah, then the worst part, the whole thing to me is after he gets the rapist off,
Phrasing.
then he turns to the victim and tries to ask her out. Which I was
She
like,
just had to get the case into a recess because she's so emotionally distraught. And Steve's like, oh, you're still mad about that whole trial thing?
Yeah.
Come on, let's go get a steak.
you haven't gotten over this yet. By the way, it is Tuesday. It's $7 steak night at Ale.
Word?
Word.
Yeah, this was hard to watch, and there are moments where Steve's persona like tries to save a little bit of the material, but it is nowhere close. This is definitely for me the low point of the night.
Indeed. And I'm sure in the culture of late 1970s, there was a lot more humor in this, and people found this to be a lot more endearing and harmless.
I guess.
But it's just knowing what I know. This
feels
isn't-
harmful.
This isn't harmless at all. The victims deserve to be comfortable, and none of this. They don't deserve to watch shit
Just
like this.
purely making jokes about their pain is rough.
Yeah.
I would have much rather seen the Mike McMack episode for next week when he takes on a case for Evel Kinevel. That would have been much better.
For sure. And our second Evel Knievel reference in just a few minutes.
Well, I had to read the rape description, so let's get you on this next one.
Then it's a live sketch. It's computerized confession. A priest, well, this can't be any better, played by Dan Aykroyd, uses a computer to determine the penance for a man, played by Garrett Morris, who confesses to an adulterous relationship he has been carrying on.
Well, you see, I'm married and I have been with another woman.
Mm-hmm. Is she too beholden to another man?
Yeah, she's married.
I see. So you've broken the 6th and the 9th commandments.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Father, what's that noise?
I told you, my son, the church has undergone quite a few changes. Contrary to what you might have been reading, the church is progressive and has modernized. This is the Trinity 3000 Central Processing Unit with an address capacity of 70,000 bits of information.
Well, what's it for?
Well, basically, it's a modern priest's companion. This terminal here has a direct link up to the Arch Data Bank in Rome. It assists the priest in analyzing transgression and the assignment of appropriate penance.
This is a great concept.
This is a fun concept for sure. And
a
it
really
actually
great concept.
is not executed that poorly.
No, it's executed
it's
pretty well.
Pretty well, yeah.
It's up there with the ATM withdrawal sketch.
Yes, I agree.
It is very clever, not quite hilarious, but it doesn't need to be. Like, this was a pretty decent, solid concept. Dan does a really great job. What are you about to say?
If you take this and shave it down by 45 seconds to a minute, and then put it in a row with like 4 or 5 other things like it in succession, not necessarily exactly the same thing, but of the same like short. Now you've got a Monty Python episode.
Oh,
like,
sure.
That's what I feel like. This is, if this was just a hair shorter and right to the point, and then they got the hell out of there and had like 2 or 3 more things like it on deck, that's a Monty Python episode.
But because it's an SNL sketch, there is a full story here because Garrett's been cheating on his wife, and he has to say 10 Hail Marys for that, thanks to the computer.
She's got a husband too. And
the thought of this priest, the priests have to be typing everything into a computer that goes straight to Rome that gives them input on what the person should do. Thinking of Rome just getting all the sin tea, just knowing every single thing that everybody's doing.
That's what it's for.
And he has to do his 10 Hail Marys. You're right. She's married to another man, and Garrett feels responsible for that man's death because that was his employee, and he sent him off to, I think, Beirut.
Yeah. And then
in a Holiday Inn, and he was killed. But the computer says, brah, don't worry about it.
The computer says, crime of passion, you're fine.
Funny moment there is he explains his problem and is like, what should I do? And the priest says, I don't know. Yeah. And he turns to the computer.
Yep. Hang on, let me check.
This is a fun play on what it feels like to talk to anybody at any job where they have to console with their computer before they give you any information.
Which is sometimes me. I have a pretty good knowledge of the different discs between the manufacturers and what compares to what. But sometimes people hit me with one I don't know, and I'm like, yes. And then I run over here to my giant screen, I click on my tab that I always have open all the way to the left. It's the Marshall Street Flight Guide. You're goddamn right. Thanks, Marshall Street.
You're welcome.
And you can find any comparison. It's terrific.
So that kind of makes this sketch, timeless.
It's cool because it's also, it immediately, when you start talking about, any profession where they have to turn to the computer before they get, like, all that people think about is airlines. And then they tail the entire sketch with, you know what, while I'm here, can I just get this flight booked? And then
he needs to get out of town because the sons of this husband are following him around.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Chicago? Tap, 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 tap. Smoking, first class? What are you thinking? Do you need a car?
It's been a trope in multiple movies over the years, but like when someone's at the airline counter and they say they need this one thing, and then the person types for like 6 full minutes in there, and it's just for one little tiny thing, and it's like, oh, you have to type all that, huh? You know, like, or they'll tell them an entire story, and then they'll go boop bop boop. Oh yeah, like.
This was a good sketch, and that is a good ending, and it has a full story, and I like the concept, and anything that's kind of poking fun at religion and its traditions is good on my account. I'm liking this one maybe even a little bit more than I did watching it while we talk about it.
Yep.
Bless you. Have a nice flight. And then we're going to get a pre-tape that we have seen before.
Yes.
It's Beatles Offer 2. Lorne Michaels adds $200 to his Beatles offer to sweeten the pot in his attempt to get the Fab Four on SNL. This is a strange thing to re-air.
It is, especially since we've had one of the Fab Four on the show.
There's been lore added to this sketch since then.
Yeah.
This is probably the best of those Lorne facing the camera ones, so I guess I get why they picked this one. I'm wondering if maybe the conversation between McCartney and Lennon that should we hop all over to 30 Rock and do this, if that was in the pop culture, if this was something people had heard about and they wanted to re-air it to get more eyes on it. But as a rewatch, it feels different than when they re-air a commercial, it had me doubting myself and thinking, have I seen this before? Have I not seen this before? What did you think about seeing this again?
I didn't. I mean, it was good. I realized immediately what was happening, and I was like, oh yeah, this is
from season 1.
Yeah, this is just a rerun, but it's still. I was like, okay, cool. But I don't know why they would put it in there in the same vein as a commercial. Like, this isn't Corey. This isn't Puppy Uppers and Doggy Downers. This doesn't go here.
Still good bits. I think we should have gotten the monkeys on SNL, so he should have taken that offer.
Yeah.
And all of the stuff about the amenities that the hotel offers, which are actually inconvenient and not that helpful, like hand-delivered ice water.
Yes.
And a free shoe rag and 3-day dry cleaning. That's still fun, still funny.
Yeah.
But it was a weird thing to see again. I would like for them to show Lorne on camera doing stuff like this more often, though. He's charming.
Yeah. Well, then we get a live sketch. It's great moments in rock and roll. Groupie Alice Sloan, played by Lorraine Newman, recounts her brief relationship with Roy Orbison, played by John Belushi, whom she only knew for standing perfectly still while singing and wearing dark shades.
You know, we've been together for a week now, and I feel as though I hardly know you. I mean, all I know is 2 things. You stand perfectly still when you sing, and you always wear dark glasses.
Well, baby, I'd love to tell you more about myself, but right now I gotta rehearse this song I wrote for you. But look, why don't you run along now and meet you at the motel?
Well,
Okay.
Roy, how do I know you'll be there?
Maybe there are 2 things you know about Roy Orbison. Number 1, he stands perfectly still when he sings. And number 2, he always wears his shades. Now, baby, I'm giving these shades to you.
Roy!
It's nice to see some Lorraine here.
It is.
Been kind of a slow night for her.
Yep.
She's doing an interesting voice.
Yeah, it's not quite Sherry, but it's not quite Valley Girl.
Kind of in between.
Yeah.
We better get through this fast because I only have minutes until these lewds kick in. So we got to get through this one. This is just an excuse to get John Belushi to do a full-fledged Roy Orbison impression like he's done with Joe Cocker.
Right, which is kind of fine with me because he does a good job.
Yes. I don't know that we needed this much sketch surrounding his Pretty Woman performance. This story with Lorraine as a groupie girlfriend. The bit is funny.
Or I could have done with the bit and then maybe like a truncated version of the song.
Yes.
He does like the full song.
Either, ladies and gentlemen, Roy Orbison, he performs the song, or the sketch, you're right, that has part of the song.
Right. So then you still get a good impression.
Lorraine is mad because Roy's going off to Houston without telling her, I think is what's happening here. And Roy promises, I'll meet you at the hotel. I'm going to give you my shades. This is very important. I'm never seen without these. This is how you know I'll meet you there. And then he just has a sunglasses dispenser that he pulls 3 more pairs from and puts over his eyes as he performs.
Smart.
Walking down the street, pretty woman, kind of love to me, pretty woman. I don't believe you're not the truth. No one can look bad as you. Mercy.
The performance is good.
Yeah. It sounds Roy Orbison-ish.
It does.
It looks Roy Orbison-ish.
Some of his vibrato very much sounds like Orbison.
And
if
he was known for not being much of a dancer or a mover while he performed, then it's kind of funny even more.
Oh, do you not know this about Roy Orbison?
Was he very much a standstill guy?
Yes. And honestly, Roy Orbison, for how iconic him, some of his songs, and his voice definitely are, he had it pretty rough for a long period of his career. It was in a world where artists weren't really getting paid the royalties that they were supposed to. So Roy Orbison went on to be a member of the supergroup, the Traveling Wilburys, with George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty. And that was other artists surrounding him and trying to get him like money because he wasn't really getting paid off of his actual work. And he was also somebody not unlike someone like Brian Wilson that suffered with a lot of anxiety and the stage fright. And it was not all just a persona of him being like this stone-faced guy, but he absolutely was. And John is such a physical performer that he does that plank style
he
performance
looked like
pretty
he was
well.
in straight rigor mortis.
By the end, when he starts falling over and stuff, that was just, okay, John, again, he's always going to do this. He's going to chug a beer and fall on the ground and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, fine. There's a little too much of this for me to fully love it and sign off on it.
Yeah.
I do like Roy Orbison, though. A lot of great music.
Yeah. And I like John's performance of it.
I love his song later in his career, You Got It. Any way you want.
Oh, yeah.
You got it. Anything else on Roy, on John, on Lorraine?
You got it.
What about Bill following around with the microphone when he falls and helping prop him up and stuff? That was a nice touch.
It was. You got it.
Then we've got the Franken and Davis show.
Here it is.
Talk about show within a show.
They had like their own little logo and everything.
And Tom Davis play the finalists in the Mr. USA pageant. This is a big show of faith for Franken and Davis. They get 10 minutes or so.
This is quite long.
Of the show here. You're right. There's a title card with art they've created, which I think is pretty great. It's got that, I don't know the artist's name off the top of my head, but that New York Broadway artist who does specific caricatures of all the different people. This feels kind of Hirschfeld, I believe. Al Hirschfeld.
Okay.
This is giving that kind of vibe. They have their talk to the audience on stage as if they're the host monologuing at the top of their show.
Yeah, they do like a little mini monologue. They do a quick routine.
They set up Jane, who's going to be playing Anita Bryant in this sketch tremendously. And then they set us up for a sketch.
Yeah.
This is a sketch within an episode of their show within this show. This has ups and downs, hits and misses, but I like this as a concept. And as a 10-1, this is pretty fun. I was pretty into this.
I appreciate Lauren's faith in the writing staff to let a couple of writers have 10 minutes at the end of the show.
And Franken and Davis have more swagger and persona than they ever have when they've shown up on the show. They're both kind of cuties.
Okay.
They're both kind of cuties. I love hearing them talk.
You can tell Franken was a wrestler for sure.
Oh, yeah. When he's trying to make himself look really skinny when he takes his shirt off, he's kind of okay. Former Senator Al Franken.
Young Franken, pretty good.
I'll hand it off to you. So the big bulk of this is the Mr. USA pageant, which is very silly. It's in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it's hosted by Anita Bryant. And it narrows down to the two finalists who are Franken and Davis. Al is Arkansas.
Al's Arkansas, and Tom is California. Which is funny because there was a bunch of other people in the cast that were also up there in suits and everything. I think Zweibel was Mr. New York. And
Tom Schiller is back there.
He was in the background. Downey was in the background.
A lot of the cast.
Yeah.
Belushi. No, Dan and Bill are kind of like off to the side for a lot of this. Yeah, we see a lot from these guys, the different parts of the contest. But boy, howdy, is it tough to pay attention when I'm just seeing these fellas in their skimpy little shorts.
They had some Speedos on.
Some skimpy little shorts. Tom is a guy who teaches handicapped children to drive a 20-mule team. Nice. And he makes a joke about his motto being the last four letters in American.
I can.
Al is doing this like kind of Aykroyd-esque voice as a speech therapist guy.
He's going to teach speech therapy to all the kids who need it.
Franken performs a football tackle routine to high hopes.
I don't understand it. It is very weird.
It is very weird, and it's 10-1, and I don't get it, but I don't really need to. I kind of liked it anyway.
Davis's was much shorter.
In his body, his moving, as he does an avant-garde dance performance, he points his toe the right way. He's really stretching out. It looked pretty legit.
But it also gave me Lebowski vibes, you know, my cycle at Crane Jackson's Fountain Street Theater.
But it's good. I mean, both of these cases, they perform it better than they would have to, or it looks like a fully fledged dance.
Yes, they do.
The winner is going to get to perform with Michael Langdon on Little House on the Prairie.
Michael Landon, how dare you?
Michael Landon?
Yeah.
Michael Landon.
Yeah.
There's a funny bit where Anita is talking to Al and is like, oh, well, so we heard your brother's in the hospital. And he's really distraught. And he's like, oh, my God.
What happened? What happened?
Sorry, wrong guy.
Yeah.
And then after his question and answer, when Davis comes out and he's like, I want to say hi to my brother in the hospital, Anita's over it. She's like, yeah, we know about that.
Dude, the Franken's reaction to that was probably my favorite part of this entire thing. It was
Franken
hilarious.
sells a lot of his stuff in here very well.
It was hilarious.
So Franken wins the pageant. After Steve Martin, as the former Mr. USA, makes his farewell stroll. When he shows up in here, I was like, oh, yeah, Steve Martin's the host of this episode.
Yep.
We haven't seen him in quite a while.
And the way that they made him come through and just wave with the baton while his own voice was like voicing over what was going, very funny.
It was pretty funny. He bows, he loses his crown. He's going to cherish the new business contacts he's made for all his life. Then Mr. Arkansas wins the thing, and that's the Franken and Davis show.
It is.
I wonder if this will be a recurring thing. I think it might.
If it keeps Mr. Mike off the stage, then I'm fine. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Well, then, ladies and gentlemen, Jackson Browne is back to perform The Pretender. It's from his 1976 album, The Pretender.
Streaming in, I get up and do it again. Amen. Say it again. Amen.
I don't think I knew this one. Did you know this song?
I didn't know this one. It was all right. I didn't dislike it, but it's not going to be as good as Running on Empty for me. No way.
I feel the exact same way as you. This was a good song, still a good performance. It went on a little long, didn't hit as hard as the first one, but I wasn't mad at it at all. Some cool camera angles as always.
Yep.
Not as fun as like the slide guitar in the first song and the cool eagle guitar. This was just kind of
good
fun.
song. Yeah.
It was the second song.
Good song, performed well.
Right into a pre-tape Chromega 3. It's the watch so powerful that it takes 3 hands to operate.
One hand wears the watch. The other hand presses the buttons that activate the 100% solid-state multifunction digital quartz crystal microcomputer unit. And now, you're ready for the third hand to trigger the light-emitting diode and give you a precise alphanumeric time readout accurate to within 9 seconds a year. It's that simple. Chromega 3. Command crafted in rugged, impact-resistant brushed chrome. It's no wonder that professional skiers prefer Chromega 3 over any ordinary timepiece.
This was fun.
Yeah.
And I hope we see this again.
It is just full 10-to-1 nonsense, energy, the 3 hands on screen, the epicness of the globe on display with the watch in front of it and O Fortuna playing on top of it.
It looks like a crazy, cool looking watch, but then once they finally get all 3 hands on it, it can do the most minute of things with 3 hands on it only. Like it's,
yeah.
What a fucking useless watch. But it's a pretty funny commercial on how seriously they take it. And yeah, I'm into Chromega 3. I hope we see it again.
Someday everyone will own a watch like this, but for now, you lucky few get to. And
don't believe me, just watch.
The rundown of each step when it's like, okay, and now you're ready for the third hand. And then the third hand comes out. Apparently professional skiers really enjoy the Chromega 3, which makes sense.
Yeah, it's rugged.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would love to see the Chromega 3 and or the Lady Chromega 3 show up again. Both of the new fake commercials this week, this one and the Deluxe II, I would see both of those again. Well, right into that is the host portrait where Steve Martin's going to raise his cap. He looks very Steve Martin just before he says goodnight.
Yeah, he says goodnight while the cast and the band congratulate each other. Don Pardo said he'd never last to a 3rd season.
This felt kind of like other things in this episode, the traditional goodnights.
Yeah.
Very quick. And then the entire cast, crew, band, they all shake hands and hug and stuff. This felt like watching a modern goodnights, even more so than in the past. And maybe that is this bigger stage space that they have here for home base.
The show's growing.
It is growing. Don has a great last line when he's talking about, and who said I wouldn't last 3 seasons? I said it. But he's hanging in. He's saying goodnight.
He hangs in for a while.
That is the end of the season 3 premiere. Zach Hall, how did you feel about it, diving into a new season, looking at it as a new opportunity for the show?
It's no Lily Tomlin, but it's pretty good, which is actually a good thing because I was thinking about one of the reasons I think I felt like season 2 was disappointing.
Yeah.
Is because they came out with the hottest episode right out the gate.
Yep.
It's like these fucking Gen Z videos now where they give away every single thing about the video in the first 5 seconds.
It's just
and then
like
you have
that.
to
You're
watch
right.
the entire thing
You're
again.
right.
But like, no, it was the best they had and it was right out front and then it never got any better from there.
That's a good point.
So was it a bad season? No. Like by the numbers, it obviously
was the same almost.
It went
a little better.
Just incrementally better,
Just
but
hardly.
But man, it's a tough order to put them in.
I like the way that you are looking at this because was this one of the best episodes? No, not really. There's some stinkers here.
Yeah.
Was the vibe right? Are some of the improvements? Are they thinking about the show in ways that I appreciate? Was the host good? Were they funny? Yes, all over it. And if the whole season is of this quality, I'll be pretty happy.
Agreed.
Let's close her up. Steve Martin, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, obviously.
How are you going to give him thumbs down?
I don't think it'll ever happen.
Stupid.
Musical guest, Jackson Browne, thumbs up, thumbs
Thumbs up.
down. I will also go thumbs up.
I was pumped.
Did like the first song more, but I did not dislike the second song. I would watch both performances again.
Yep.
Best sketch of the night, I am going to swap my pick and my honorable mention here. I do believe I'm going to put my best sketch of the night as Computerized Confession.
Same.
I had written down the Festrunk Brothers, which I do really, really like. No?
It's not as good.
I don't think it's as good either, but it is very iconic, important, and funny, and it'll stay my honorable mention. But Computerized Confession was really unique and complete, and a piece that I really enjoyed even more talking about it with you. Who is the MVP not ready for primetime player for the season 3 premiere?
Really hard not to give it to Dan.
Yeah, I'm not, for the record.
I'm not either, but it's really hard not to.
I have 2 honorable mentions, and I have a winner.
Go.
Honorable mentions to Dan and to John.
I got honorable mentions to Dan and to Garrett.
My MVP is Jane Curtin.
My MVP is Jane Curtin.
And maybe part of it is us talking 2 days ago, like, let's go into season 3 ready to award Jane Curtin.
Well, but then with that said, it was because she carried most of the weight on the update desk, and this week she didn't get to.
No.
So
instead, she's showing up very well in a lot of different sketches.
For me, Anita Bryant was very funny and put her over the edge.
We totally glossed over when she's discussing playing Anita Bryant, and she's like, well, obviously I'm a big fan of Anita Bryant. And you're like, what?
Right.
She's like, and also ex-lover of Anita Bryant. That was great.
Yes.
And there are a few other sketches in this episode where Jane plays her parts very, very well. Jane Curtin, season 3, episode 1 MVP.
That's right.
For both of us. What is your overall episode rating?
7.
We are very close here.
Okay.
I don't think it warranted the 7, but just underneath it because the Mike McMack sketch was so bad.
Yeah.
And other moments, other sketches, kind of like the Roy Orbison one, didn't hit as hard as I'd like them to. It is a 6.8. It's very close to the 7, but not quite the 7.
I'm trying not to skew everything down this season.
I like that for you.
Thanks.
And I'm trying to start being a stick in the mud like you.
Yes.
Well, next week, another episode, Madeline Kahn.
Yes.
Returning to host the show. I didn't really think we got her again, so I'm excited too.
I am very pumped.
And musical guest Taj Mahal.
Which, by the way, if I ever did have a daughter, Tajma was the #1 name that I wanted to name her, but
is this true?
Was not allowed.
Were you ever serious? Is this serious?
I was dead serious.
Where'd you get the name from? Taj Mahal?
Yeah.
Tajma?
Tajma.
Okay. If I get a vote, I'm gonna put my vote on no on Tajma.
Tajma was the girl, Alka was the boy.
Alka? Like the seltzer?
No.
Where does Alka come from?
What's my last name, dickhead?
Hall? Fuck you. Fuck you.
Wow.
You should never have children.
I know. Done.
You should never have children.
Done.
That episode, October 8th, 1977, is what we'll cover next week. That's the season 3 premiere, and we're going to go right from it into our dive, our final dive for our blitz.
The blitz.
Our final blitz for season 51. We are going to talk about the season finale with host Will Ferrell, musical guest Paul McCartney. It originally aired on May 16th, 2026. Zach Hall, how did it start?
With the Jeffrey Epstein's ghost, obviously. President Trump, played by Jadge, is visited by the ghost of Jeffrey Epstein, played by Will Ferrell. We get the host in the cold open. That's fun, but he was a former cast member, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
We get Ashley Padilla as Christy Nome, Colin Jost as Pete Hegseth, and Aziz Ansari as Kash Patel.
Aziz is just here for a second, but he was here to play these last 3 weeks, showing up in 8H all 3 weeks.
I think he's enjoying this character.
There are less bits and jokes that I love about this, but I truly love that we finally get how hard we went with the Epstein jokes this week.
Yeah.
And casting Will Ferrell as Jeffrey Epstein, Will Ferrell is to me, a safe, trustworthy guy.
Yeah.
So to have him play the absolute lowest scum of the earth and to have him and Jadge get to sing a little song together, it was just perfect.
Yeah.
Like, if you could trust anybody to fucking play and crush Jeffrey Epstein, it's Will Ferrell.
It was very fun, but also very Trumpy, so I just kind of sat through
that.
it.
I understand.
Yeah.
Something meta that I was thinking while watching this one is how excited I was that James, who has this now iconic president impression, is getting to go toe-to-toe with one of the other most iconic president impression performers of all time. And that was one of my feelings throughout this whole episode, is just kind of feeling parasocially excited that all of these modern cast members got to play around with one of the greats all night.
I mean, I don't know. Some of them were pretty young, and obviously I'm going to leave Cam out of this conversation since he doesn't ever watch the show before this. But
I'm sure he knows who Will Ferrell is.
Yeah, just being able to be on the stage with one of the people that probably made all of them want to do this.
One of the goats.
Like all of them.
Maybe the goat, one of the goats.
For sure.
Well, then let's talk about him. Longtime former cast member and 6-time host Will Ferrell returns to SNL as he confronts Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers before taking a question from audience member Paul McCartney.
I loved this bit. This was so funny. When Chad Smith comes out, Jenna said if they had just dubbed Will Ferrell's voice, they could have gone for a while before she understood what was happening.
Really?
Yeah. She's like, I thought it was him for sure.
No, I don't think the resemblance is as uncanny as it was 10, 12 years ago.
Probably not.
But the resemblance between the two is one of the most iconic pop culture bits of the last 20 years. And for it to kind of build up to this moment, I mean, there have been other moments where on a late night show, they've done a drum off or something. I think that was on Fallon.
Sure.
But this, completely unannounced, him walking out and starting the cold open was really, really great. And then Paul McCartney from the audience.
And he does it in the same way that Randall Park plays Jim Halpert in the episode when they're fucking with Dwight.
Yeah.
Where he comes in and...
I'm Will Ferrell.
Yeah. It also... Yeah, they do look alike. They're no Mike Tomlin and Omar Epps, but they do look alike.
I don't know who those people are.
Wow.
This was very funny. Paul McCartney piping in and then also confusing who was great. One of the themes for me this night was I'm more aware of death than ever by watching Paul McCartney, who I love so much, perform and exist on this stage.
Oh, no.
There's a moment where they pull him up on stage and they're excited, like stick around, and Chad Smith and Will Ferrell are big energy grabbing each other. Did you notice this moment?
Also...
Paul McCartney kind of like cowers, like, I'm 100 years old, please don't hurt me.
Will Ferrell is a super tall guy, and I think Chad Smith is like a couple
big and
inches
beefy
taller
for sure. Yeah. Paul McCartney was like, oh my God, I'm so brittle.
Pretty fun monologue.
Oh, and the runner, when Will is mentioning all of the songs that Paul wrote, and then he's like, but you didn't write any of Smash Mouth. You didn't write the alphabet song. Paul chiming up to say Penny Lane. Penny Lane. Yeah, okay, I guess that one.
Come on.
That was all very good.
And by the way, shouting out the songs that Paul wrote, he listed so many.
Yeah.
And
you could have listed so many more.
So many bangers.
I cannot underestimate how much I love this man, Paul McCartney.
Your favorite song that he wrote for the Beatles, not Wings.
Fuck. If it's like gun to my head and I have to cement it forever and always, it's probably Eleanor Rigby, and it's maybe Got to Get You Into My Life. Those are two of my very, very favorite.
It's probably Blackbird.
Oh, yeah.
But it could be Let It Be.
I know, and I could listen to all the songs and give you that same rattling list of like, well, yeah, maybe it's this one, but it
could also be Yesterday.
And so many of the smaller songs that you don't remember, like Rocky Raccoon. Like,
yeah, right. He mentioned that one though, too. That was a good one.
I forget what I think Here Tonight. It was a song. He mentioned a song, and he's like, "That one's for me." There are a lot of Paul McCartney, those are for me songs that I love, like Flaming Pie from his solo career, Fine Line from his solo career,
Dude,
like just really great stuff.
When I'm 64.
Oh, yeah. We love you, Paul.
We do.
We know you're listening. After that,
it's a live sketch. It's post-op. A doctor, played by Will Ferrell, gives his patient, Mikey Day, some bad news after surgery. This one has Ashley Padilla, and this marks Mikey Day's 200th episode as a cast member.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's like a 50th of Keenan. Good work.
That's a fifth of the series, though, which is
that's solid.
Pretty huge.
Yeah. And also, I think we've been noting Mikey's been playing a lot of the straight man this season. Like, he kind of comes into a sketch and
holds his face as tight as possible.
Yeah, just doesn't really.
Will Ferrell, you can't even see what he's doing on camera that makes people on stage crumble. But he does. He knows how to just like look at Mikey or change up one word from how he was saying it before. And the absolute pro Mikey is like crumbling and having to cover his face and turn away to stay serious in this scene where he accidentally had his penis removed by the doctor, which is a very funny bit. This is the type of joke they've done so many times, kind of like the spit joke last week. This made me laugh. I think they played it off well. It wasn't the most clever or new, but it made me laugh, certainly. And this was the first time I looked over at Lil and said, if this is Mikey's last episode, it would feel right. Because he gets a great episode tonight.
Yeah. Is it cake?
I don't know. I refuse to find out by watching that program.
Okay. Well, what's next?
A pre-tape midnight matinee. It's called Bobbin's Sacrifice. A man, or what do they call him? They don't call him a hobbit, but he's something hobbit adjacent.
Yeah.
Bobbin, played by Will Ferrell, sacrifices himself kind of to help save a kingdom. We get Andrew, Chloe, Tommy, James, Jeremy, and Ben in this sketch.
This is essentially a Lord of the Rings parody.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
The point is less the parody and more this idea that someone has to go in the middle of this bridge.
Yes.
And they're going to die, but they're going to save everybody. And instead,
they send the guy that they think is the right guy to do it.
He's pure of heart.
He's pure of heart.
He sings this little
he's
song
the guy
about it.
On his way down there, he sings a song, and the song finds its way into saying, I'm switching sides.
Yeah.
So he's playing the Mac version in this one. He's playing both sides. That way he always comes out on top.
He gets killed after revealing the information, but then it turns out he's still alive, and he kills the person from the other side who's coming over the bridge.
Before he gets killed again.
I think I liked all of this stuff better than the song.
Yeah, I hate when they do songs.
Unless they're good, which they are sometimes. Like the
Don't Say Antler Dance.
The Antler Dance, obviously, or the Bug Planet song was fine last
Tucci
week.
Gang.
Or fucking Cousin Planet earlier this season. All great. This was fine. I have high expectations when I see Midnight Matinee pop up, and this did not quite meet them, but it was okay.
It was all right.
Then we have a live sketch. Why don't you tell us about it?
It's Cast List 2. A group of high school students wait for their drama teacher, played by Will Ferrell, to post this show's cast list. This one's got Cam, Marcelo, Andrew, Tommy, Veronica, Jane, James, Chloe, Ashley, Ben, Jeremy, Sarah, Mikey, Keenan, and Molly fucking Shannon.
When she shows up, it's so random, but it made me so happy.
Yeah, it was nice.
And I saw a bunch of, maybe this just is telling you my feed, but I opened the app Threads, and it was a picture, or it was a quote that said Molly Shannon at 61, and it was like a bunch of, basically the joke was would. I would.
Okay.
She's so beautiful. She is so hot. She is as attractive, funny, and compelling now as she was 20 years ago when she was on the show.
It was an interesting poll. I would have thought they would have had Sherry come back. Yeah. But I don't know if Sherry does return the stuff anymore. Like, I think she just is happy to just watch.
And I don't know how many times Will has done stuff with people like Sherry or someone like Chris Kattan since the show, but someone
Kattan's
like
got the back injury.
That's true. Someone like I don't know. Chris has got a lot going on if you follow him on social media. But Anna Gasteyer or Molly Shannon would have made a lot of sense for them to pop in here.
Yeah. I like that they chose Shannon because we have our new generation's Anna Gasteyer, and that's Ashley Padilla.
I love her so much.
She's phenomenal.
What did you think of Cast List 2? Do you remember Cast List 1?
I don't remember Cast List 1, but
I could be wrong. I think it maybe was even like a cut for time online sketch or something.
Maybe probably surrounded a different show. I don't know, but this
definitely
one,
Will Ferrell the last time.
This one was okay. Like it played exactly how it kind of expected it to when you saw the premise.
As a theater kid, these bits work for me, and I didn't mind spending 8 minutes, 10 minutes here. It was a very long sketch for modern SNL, so I get it if you were tired by it, but there were some things I really loved. Like a way that I'm seeing, like Cam in the sketch with Marcelo, when they are the football players who don't really know anything about theater.
Basketball.
What exactly?
Basketball.
Who cares?
Because the way Marcelo said it was very funny.
Basketball.
No, we can't because we have basketball.
That just makes me want you more. Cam and Marcelo are the only cast members who I think could pull this off, and Cam absolutely pulls off this type of guy. And having someone in your sketch repertoire who can step up and be like the cool kid when you're surrounded by people like Mikey and Jeremy, it fits. It works.
I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
You're
trying to talk you into liking him. I'm not trying to talk you into liking him, but I think I see more clearly like why having a guy like Cam on the cast is worthwhile.
I like what you said where you're like, this was, as a theater kid, you could understand this sketch. This one felt real to me. How did you feel when these cast lists went up? What was it like for you?
Sad.
Oh no.
So not to brag, but in school, I was a better singer than everybody else.
Oh.
But I wasn't prettier than everybody else.
Oh.
So I would constantly get like the character parts when what I really wanted to do was sing my heart out in front of everybody.
Sure. I liked the shows that didn't have music involved. I went out for both of them, obviously, but like in my 4 stoplight town, 500 people in all the school.
Wow.
That includes
That's like the size of my graduating class.
Yeah, freshman through senior. That's everybody. And it was just under 500. There weren't a lot of options for males in the theater.
Yeah.
And so when
you got Charlie Brown.
When I stepped up and did anything, it looked way better than it was. And yeah, these cast lists postings were the same for me every time.
Yeah.
I knew what it was going to be because there
Definitely.
were not other guys going out for the lead, and the ones that were the ones that were looking down at the script all the time and reading every word like this.
Bazubal.
Yeah, like it was easy. It was fucking fish in a barrel.
Cast list time was nervous because you want it and then you don't get it, and you see that in all of these characters. A lot of great little moments with many of the cast members. Jeremy as the guy who like, I want you to hold these tissues because you're not going to get it, and he just is inconsolable is great. The wonderkind, already graduated kid who is around too much and is too big a part of the role, and ends up getting the role in the show. It feels very real. I really enjoyed that.
I mean, like the cast list posting, you had to you felt your emotions in front of everybody. Like that was because unless you waited and went and looked another time, but then it was hard not to be spoiled. So like you kind of like wanted to hang back and let people look and like
judge off of other people's
read
reactions.
other people's reactions, but then like, man, you can see the outline of your name from a certain distance away, and it's like you didn't even have to get all the way there.
Yep.
Frustrating.
Yep. Oh, but it teaches you a good lesson of how to receive potentially bad news publicly, which is not a bad thing. I really loved Jane in this, how they set the seed of just as long as I'm not a tree again, I'm in a tree the last 3 shows. And then Mikey comes out and is like, hey, can you hold these branches?
Yeah, I just want to take your picture.
Sway a little bit.
Very fun.
That was probably one of the funniest moments of this.
Jane coming in the clutch again.
Very good. And Will in every sketch, and I think they could have used him even more than they got to. I mean, the Paul McCartney and the joke swap of it all really stuffed this episode.
For sure.
Will proved like he still could be a cast member. He is so good at this. He holds straighter than almost anybody in this cast ever can. And it is absolutely incredible.
I think that was always, as a cast member, one of the things that he probably prided himself on the most was that it wasn't that he never broke. It's that he could get you to break more often than you could ever get him to break. And that's pretty funny.
And I think Mikey is that of this cast.
Yeah.
And Will decimates him.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, ladies and gentlemen, Paul McCartney performs his new song, Days We Left Behind. Did you watch the music this week?
I love Paul McCartney. I did not watch the music this week.
You didn't watch any of it?
I tried to be consistent.
Okay. Days We Left Behind is a song off his upcoming album. It's a very nostalgic, a soft song about his growing up times pre-Beatles and his relationships. Man, Paul McCartney has given so much to us, and his voice has suffered for how much of it he's given to us, and his voice is such a pure instrument. You should not expect him, anybody who complains about his voice, like, get a life. Dude's 84 years old.
Yeah.
But it took me back to that.
Just be thankful for what we've been given already.
Confronting mortality, where I'm watching it and starting to think like, and I never really do for Paul because he is such a with it guy all the time, starting to think like, man, I really hope you're enjoying this. I know that he knows how his voice sounds, and I'm sure he has a complex about it. And it sounded old and tired. I mean, it's midnight when he's performing this song, but it is Paul McCartney on the SNL stage.
But what time it is in the UK?
Later than that.
6 a.m. I think.
Later than that.
8.
Because SNL UK is earlier in our time.
6 and 8 a.m.
I don't think it's that big a difference.
Your mom's a big difference.
I love Paul McCartney. I am glad that he was here, and we'll talk more about him. I have nothing but love for Paul. I would absolutely buy a $300 ticket to go watch him croak all of his songs in the original key, and I would cry, and it would be the best night of my entire life.
That does sound like something you do for sure. Well, then we get Weekend Update.
Would you still go to a Paul McCartney concert?
I would not pay that much for it, no.
Okay.
But Weekend Update with Colin Jost and Michael Che. Jost and Che tackle the week's top stories, like FIFA announcing a World Cup final halftime show featuring Madonna, Shakira, and BTS. So it's something for everyone to be mad at.
Yes.
And Stevie Wonder celebrating his 76th birthday.
We're going to give him his diamonds that we give him every year.
It's a pile of rocks.
The Venn diagram of SNL season 1, SNL season 51, jokes about Stevie Wonder being blind is nuts.
It's pretty good. And then we get a very nice treat. Mr. On Blast, played by Jeremy Colhane, stops by to speak his mind on topics like AI, the stock market, and more.
I loved this so much. I loved it so much. Fun. I liked it better than the first time.
Because, I think part of the fun for me is that they're so unbelievably bad at the timing of getting the hits down when he's moving.
And all of his burns are so unbelievably bad.
They're not good burns.
It is so funny. The blam is fun every time. This time having the On Blast boys behind him was even better.
Having
Colin,
him picture in a picture of himself while he's talking to himself.
that made me laugh out loud harder than anything in the episode. When he's like doing a thing and then, yes, he's the picture in picture.
Hey guys, I'm where the
pictures are. That was my hardest laugh of this episode. And it was so stupid, so silly, and so wonderfully performed. Colin getting in on it and having the fart noise when he tries to do the blam was very fun.
Yeah.
And the moment when Mr. On Blast touches Colin, he's like, don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
When the newbies really, really start finding their interplay with the Weekend Update hosts, you can tell that like something's cooking here. Jeremy is a member of this team. If he doesn't get invited back next season, we riot.
No, listen,
he has to.
Listen. It's second year for her, but Ashley is beyond earned a spot on the actual cast. And secondly, God damn it, Veronica and Jeremy are there. They've killed it.
Have to be.
They've earned it.
I don't know if they'll get the upgrade next year unless we bring in a lot of new people.
Promote them.
They definitely should come back. Definitely.
Promote them.
Well, after that, we have... Oh, no.
Yeah, after that, we have my
swap.
favorite thing that SNL ever does, which is Jost and Chase swapping jokes. And, you know, I think last season, Che kind of ruined it.
It was at Christmas.
Yeah, Che, like, fucked it up and essentially convinced Jost that they weren't doing it. And then he did it. And it was lame, and it took the sting out of it. And this time, I think Jost got the better of him. That doesn't usually happen on the joke swap.
I think this time, I feel like you did last time. Not that they've ruined it, but that it has lost most of its steam. And they cannot go any farther with this without making them say things that they cannot say on broadcast television.
Yeah.
And I want Jost and Che to stay. I want them to be back next year. I think it's okay and maybe time to let this go and not feel the need that we have to do it every year forever. And
I
ever,
think
ever, ever.
if we let this go, we have to let them go as the update.
You think so?
I do, because it's become such a great part of what they do. And to me, every Weekend Update is about the few seconds in between each joke when they are reacting to each other and talking to each other. Then this is like the extrapolation of that, and it's my favorite part of them. So I would be personally very bummed if they continued on the Weekend Update desk and didn't do this. And yes, it is starting to get to almost diminishing returns where the fuck do they go from here?
And it's been that way the last couple.
But like this time, there was something great that I really liked.
Okay.
Che's thing, and like it's one of his main things, is to be negative and be shitty, like purposely to be a dick, and to pretend like he actually hates Jost. To pretend like that all the mean things he says about him and all the like racist things he says about Jost are
Colin.
Yeah, it's just like they are actually really good friends. Yeah. And it's so refreshing to see.
As close as friends that are this type of coworker should be, right? I'm sure they're not hanging out all the time, but they clearly love each other.
Che just gives off this like, I don't feel that way about anybody. And like, I don't like Colin. He's just another white guy. Like, it really is a fun relationship. And at the end of this, when Colin's about to get his hair cut, hearing Che say, "You're the greatest comedian of all time," was so satisfying for me.
But he's like, "Oh, you're actually gonna do it?"
Yeah. Hearing him say that you're the greatest comedian of all time. It seems like
Are you about to well up over this a little bit?
Yes, I am. It seems like a long-standing bet between the two of them finally came to a culmination, which is super fun.
Or to look at it from another angle, Che thinking, "Well, what can I do this time that's gonna break him?
For sure.
That's gonna make him call it." And even that will not.
Yeah, because his hair is so much a part of his punchable face personality.
And then did you notice Colin in the Goodnights?
No. Did he have a haircut?
He's wearing a bald cap.
Oh, okay. I was like, because he's fucking hosting Jeopardy right now. He can't do that shit.
Plays off the bit perfectly. If this is all really happening in the moment, that between update and the end of the show, Colin goes to wardrobe and is like, "Can you guys get me in a bald cap really quick for this play?"
It's very Colin.
Yeah.
Like I swear to God, if you watch Jeopardy, it's not just that Colin's very good at writing jokes and like writing jokes for other people and performing jokes. Like his off the cuff stuff that there's no way someone could have pre-wrote for him is amazing. Yeah. He's amazing at it. He reminds me of someone at Game Show Battle Rooms that we work. Oh, me.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Actually, I meant you. You're my favorite Zach in the building.
I'll take it, but I don't need that. Thank you. This was, okay, I don't feel the same way about you. I think if they're going to get rid of the joke swap, they should do a last one.
Yes.
A send-off. But and I don't think it necessarily means that they would have to leave after that. But I see your point. I respect your opinion. And I loved how impassionate you got about that.
Yeah, I always well up when I start thinking about those two.
Bricked up is how I would put it.
Okay.
Bricked up watching Seinfeld. That's how I would put it.
All right.
So what's next? Do you have anything else on the last update of the season? How great that Jeremy got that moment.
Yeah,
there was one correspondent.
Yep.
Now, I'll say one last thing. There was a bunch of stuff cut from this episode, and a lot of it is made it online, and all of it is really good. There's some sketches that I think should have been in the episode instead of a couple of these.
I'll check them out.
And the other cut weekend update correspondent was Sarah, and it was a great Sarah piece.
Okay.
So that
Was she
Jeremy
fucking with Colin?
got this. Absolutely.
Okay, good.
There's a really funny line where she compares her hair to a certain era of Paul McCartney in Wings, and a joke about how Paul McCartney reacted in the hallway when she told him that news. It's just very, very funny and would have been great on the show. So the faith that Jeremy's getting to get that spot instead made me really happy.
Well, I wish we would have cut one of these next two then, but go ahead.
Up next is a live sketch called Mechanics. A couple, played by Mikey Day and Ashley Padilla, has a confusing conversation with their mechanics, played by Will Ferrell, Marcelo Hernandez, and fucking Paul McCartney Billy Shears.
I love that he comes out
and does his like wibbly wobbly British way of speaking.
He does an extremely British way of going about everything. It's very funny.
I think there's a reason why we get these two instead of the two that were better online. And this one, it's because Paul McCartney cameos in it.
Yeah, the next one, though, I wasn't a fan of at all.
We'll get to that in a moment. I thought this was fun, but simple and easy. This is how going to a mechanic feels. And I think the end, when they're like, okay, so you don't have money, but you can pay an ass. First of all, forever now as a society, we have 84-year-old Paul McCartney saying you can pay an ass while dressed up like a mechanic, and that's something that will exist forever now. Yeah. Secondly, I think it's a smarter joke than what the sketch gives it credit for, of how by the end of a trip to the mechanic, you feel like you're getting fucked by the mechanics.
For sure.
And this was a clever way of making that joke without saying it the easy way. Pay an ass could just be a 10-to-1 random weird thing, but when you're like, no, they are kind of like this.
You're getting
bent
shafted,
over.
for sure.
And the way that Ashley, as the wife, is like, oh, yeah, okay, so I'll just go over to Costco and I'll do some shopping. Just text me when you're done. That was fun. This was like a 6 out of 10 sketch. It had enough fun moments to make me happy.
I liked Paul McCartney in it a lot.
Pay an ass.
Speaking of Paul McCartney performs Band on the Run, one of my favorite songs of all time. Nice.
And it is tough to hear him sing it these days.
That's a bummer.
I have so much love, admiration, respect that it is so important to him that it's important to us to hear him perform these songs in the original key as they've always sounded. But dude, it is okay. Like, it's getting to a point where I would rather hear you do something else because I love this song so much. Now, there is the other side of the coin that the fucking Beatle, the fucking Wings frontman is here on stage performing this iconic song for this group, and I will not let that take away the joy of that.
Still a good song.
An incredible song.
Yeah.
An incredible song.
Always liked it.
Now, after that, a live sketch. You talked to us about it.
Yeah, it's the Nudemans on the program. A man, who's a man, played by Andrew Dismukes, who we love. He gets introduced to his girlfriend, Veronica Slowikowska's family, played by Will Ferrell, Sarah Sherman, and Marcelo Hernandez. So Marcelo's the brother, Sarah is the mom, Will's the dad.
Yes.
They are wearing half of their clothing, the front half or the back half.
Yes.
Depending on who they are. But not the top and bottom half. They're, imagine your clothes.
Underwear.
Yeah, imagine your clothes cut in half long ways.
Yeah. It's interesting that this sketch is the Nudemans because earlier this season we had another sketch that didn't totally work that was called the Rudemans. Do you remember that one?
No, but then next season we'll get
I think it was with Amy Poehler.
The Dudemans.
The Dudemans would be good. I mean, the first time you get the visual of Will, because Will has always been so good at this body humor.
Yes.
And now he's pushing or past 60.
Mm-hmm.
So there are parts of that get funnier as he gets older, that he's still willing to go there.
And Sarah loves like some grandma style tidy whities. Like she just, the more grandma the underwear, the better.
May I be a creep for a moment?
I mean, please.
I find Sarah Sherman so attractive that it is, even when she's over the top being ugly and gross, it is tough for me to see her that way.
Interesting.
I see a beautiful woman bent over at a window next to Will Ferrell in a very silly outfit.
Interesting.
I think maybe, and to an extent, same with Marcello, who's like a very good looking young man. What I feel about this is it would work better if it was just Will. And there was like a reason why it was just Will. And there was more of a story. Instead, it's like, look at the naked people. Ha ha ha. Oh no, he's sitting next to me. That's where his penis is.
Yeah.
I agree with you. This was mostly
This one
a
could
miss.
have been cut for me, for sure.
Could have been cut, and both of the cut sketches would have been better than this.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a really great sketch where it's like costume characters for a preschool meet and greet, like Bluey's family or something, but they made up a sketch and it's like people in costumes meeting with children. And Will is the super intense, hard ass security guard who is like intervening with the children to make sure all of the characters are safe. That sketch was hilarious and should have been on the show instead of this one.
Maybe we could cut a musical number to fit it in.
No, absolutely not.
We don't do that here.
The good nights are interrupted by a third song from Paul McCartney. And
which is crazy.
That is so cool. Now, SNL legend, traditionally when Paul McCartney musical guests, he will perform an encore set for the crowd after the good nights where he'll do like 3 or 4 of the Beatles hits.
Interesting.
So in this episode, and SNL ends at 1:33. Like it's an affiliate thing. They all the time, the good nights get cut if you watch it on live TV in the middle of a sentence. And then you have to go back and watch it on Peacock to actually see the end of the episode. But they gave Paul McCartney his fucking time and let him play one more song and let us be a part of that SNL legend of him giving these iconic encores. I loved being a part of that.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
Coming Up is one of my very favorite Paul McCartney solo songs, so I was really excited to have him play that. I just love that song so much.
And coming up is season 52.
Before that, after we went, not that I was there, but after we went dark for the season finale, Paul finished Coming Up. Will Ferrell comes on stage with a cowbell and sings the song with him at the end. I notice here during this part on camera, Will Ferrell, while everyone's hanging out and dancing, did you notice this? Of
course
Will
not.
Ferrell walks over and sits on a bench like the front of the audience area and just puts his head in his hand and watches Paul. Just gets in there and watches Paul perform, and it was incredible to see. And then apparently after the cameras went off, he went up and joined him, and they played off of each other. And then Paul played Drive My Car and Help as well for the crowd.
I need somebody.
What a way to end season 51. I'm not sure it was the best episode because some of the sketches fell flat.
The sketches weren't there for me, and when you get Will Ferrell hosting, I feel like it's one of those, even accidentally, your expectations are sky high.
I respect the choice to not be too fan servicey with the repeat characters.
Yeah. Could have gotten one in there, would have been cool.
Agree. But it's Paul McCartney, so he takes up so much space. I think I will rank this episode of the like showdown dynamic duo episodes. I like this one a little bit better than Jack Black, Jack White.
Okay.
The energy from Will Ferrell and the just historical significance of Paul McCartney being on the show again was very, very cool. That is the end of season 51.
Yep.
And the start of season 3 of Saturday Night Dive.
What a fun little lineup we had.
I have bad news for you.
No.
I do. We're going to have to start coming up with icebreakers again.
Oh, no.
Because the show's done for the year.
Oh, yeah, we don't have a blitz.
I know.
That's fine.
Well, it's time to say goodnight here on the show. Zach Hall, who would you like to thank in our final minutes?
I'd like to thank Zach Pruitt for being able to turn this around in another 2 days, because we recorded 2 days ago. We had something come out yesterday, and then we recorded again today.
It kind of came out yesterday.
It was 40 minutes late with an ice cream cone.
As many of the best things are. I want to thank Zach Hall. I want to thank the Circle 2 Lounge at Disc Golf Mart, Indianapolis. I want to thank Four Finger Discount. Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Dando. We love you. I want to thank Lil Shaker. I want to thank the fun folks over at Game Show Battle Rooms. And I want to end this episode by telling you to email us, SaturdayNightDivePod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts. Talk to us about these season 3 episodes. Give us some corrections, some icebreakers. We need them. God, do we need them?
We do.
Send us pitiful pleas to be on our program. We love that kind of thing.
Sure.
Thank you, Mitch, for that. We'll talk. We might be able to work something out.
I'm a lot better at the opening line than I'm a icebreaker, so help me out.
Okay. Well, Sat Night Dive Pod also on social media if you want to talk to us that way. Thanks for the thoughts, the laughs, the subscribes, the comments. Keep them coming. We're going to keep this content coming. And before we can create any more content, we have to end the current set of content. And there's only one way to do that, with the Zach Hall final words.
We are two wild and crazy guys.